before.
It's funny how they tell you, oh, we're going to do this, but we can't tell you why. You know, it's just whatever. This is a link I'll post on the video, and it says Syrian regime denies using chemical weapons. It says Syrian regime says a U.S. claim that it used chemical weapons is a cheap tactic to justify Obama's decision to arm the rebels. Okay, it says, let's go down here. U.S. President Barack Obama has approved arming the Syrian rebels for the first time in response to the development, according to officials. Right. Like they ain't been giving them guns and all. How they get all them weaponry? They ain't just stumble upon those guns they have, or them bullets. Bullets ain't cheap. Or I guess they ain't cheap to them. They can't even pay for food. That's why the whole so-called war, they need to fight for their freedom because they're being oppressed. So how you buying bullets and anti-missiles and MC and AKs? How you getting in vests and training? You're giving them way more than just communication. Prime Minister, who will speak to the president by telephone later on Friday ahead of the G8 summit, said President Bashar al-Assad used the weapons against his own people under our noses must be addressed. But Syrian government has dismissed U.S. Statement as a full of lies. So you guys can read the rest of this. But I just wanted to show how that Russia's in there, man. Russia's not slightly in there. They're fully in there. All cards are in on Syria's lines. And this video will show that.
Russia has been building up its naval presence near Syria in an effort to keep Western allies out of Syria's bloody civil war. Wall Street Journal's Pentagon correspondent Julian Barnes joins us now with details of this. Julian, thanks for joining us. This is no small thing and no small number of warships.
No, this is Russia's largest post-Cold War deployment of its naval force.
I told you, Cold War ain't ended. They just put it on, they didn't even put it on ice because it was a Cold War. It warmed up a little bit, but it's chilling up now. It's getting back to freezing, man.
Is outside the waters immediately surrounding Russia. We've had in recent months between 10 and 15 warships near Syria in the Eastern Med. Right now we have 11 ships, including destroyers, intelligence collectors.
11 ships. This is Obadiah 1 and 7. All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee, and have prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him. Russia was once at peace with America. Now that wound of that Cold War of letting Russia heal up, man. The USSR is healed up, man. Okay.
Ships, frigates.
Now these are very much warships, and no way could they be viewed in any other way as sending a message. What exactly is the message that Russia wants to send the US, Israel, Turkey, the rest of NATO?
The bottom line message is that Russia has a strong interest in Syria, and that there's not going to be a solution to this problem unless it has the blessing of Russia. It is a message that there are Russians in Syria in force, and that it has a power in that country. It would be a complicating factor should the U.S. decide to intervene militarily, but the U.S. doesn't look like it wants to intervene militarily in Syria, and one reason is because there's a large Russian presence.
They have a port there, a naval base, and that is their only base or naval base in the Mediterranean. So clearly they want to keep that, right?
That's right, and this the deployments of these ships is a way of them saying we're not going to give up that base. Now that's okay with the U.S. The U.S. has signaled privately to Russia that whatever the long-term solution in Syria, the United States is okay with Russia keeping that base. That's going to be...
So as soon as Assad gets out of there, you know what's going to happen? Those rebels are magically going to start attacking that Russian base and start pushing the Russian base out, and then America's going to say, oh, we don't know what's going on. It's the rebels. It's the new regime. They just want to push you out. You can't be dumb about this, man. You gotta think as a military. It says suffer as a good soldier, man. We in wartime. And all this war right here is brewing up to shackling us, you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans up. They can't shackle you up unless the rest of the world has been pacified, as you can say. Because soon as they get done taking off these nations that aren't with it, with the plan, they're going to shackle us up, man. So this is all pretense to their so-called, this is for them eating. As it says, the Most High is going to rain fire when they eat. So they're trying to finish, they're trying to get their plate. They're adding on to their plate. It's like when you go to a buffet. You add your pizza, you have your chicken, okay? They're adding on to their plate, man. They're getting ready to go sit down. But little do they know, that's when the Most High is gonna come ask for that money, or ask for that bill that they owe.
That the U.S. hopes to offer.
It's like you go to a restaurant, and right when they bring you your food and you're getting ready to eat it, they say, "Sir, can you pay for that? You need to pay for that food before you eat it." So the payment is all the things that Esau, these other nations have done to this build up to this point now. They're gonna have to pay for that. Majority Esau and the head tribe Amalek, which are the so-called Jews, the imposters.
Russia as they try to lure them to the table to take a more active role in pushing out Assad rather than blocking Western efforts in Syria. But the base remains a complicating factor for the West.
So, Julian, one of the things that it has been talked about is Russia possibly selling an S-300 system of guided missiles to Assad, and that would be really quite bad news for anyone wanting to intervene in Syria, wouldn't it?
That's right. I mean, these are some of the most advanced anti-aircraft and anti-missile systems in the world. They're capable of shooting down guided missiles. They're capable of shooting down aircraft. U.S. officials have told us in recent days they expect this shipment to leave Russia as soon as the end of this month. And it's a system that really worries both U.S. and Israeli officials.
Julian, should we be worried about...
All right, that's it on that. This is Micah 1 and 3, or Micah 1 and 2. Hear all ye people, hearken, O earth, and all that therein is, and let the Lord power be witness against you, the Lord from his holy temple. For behold, the Lord cometh forth out of his place, and will come down and tread upon the high places of the earth, man. So now that's happening. We're in the time of that visitation.
About a truly enormous multi-state war breaking out, centered on Syria, involving all the parties we've talked about, Israel, Turkey, Russia, the U.S., possibly Jordan as well.
You know, this is why U.S. and Western defense officials have been saying this is such a problem. It's really apparent to folks.
Verse 4, and the mountain shall be, Micah 1 and 4, and the mountain shall be molten under him. What is mountains? The rulerships, the governments, okay, shall be molten under him, and the valleys shall be as chaff, as wax before the fire. Also true, that other mountain, that other fire too is going to melt this place. And it says, and the waters are poured down a steep place. For the transgression of Jacob is all this, and for the sins of the house of Israel, what is the transgression? Oh, that's it on that.
That this is not just a Syrian problem. This is not just about a civil war, but that there's a spillover effect, that it could threaten Jordan, that the refugees coming out of Syria could push the Hashemites away, out of power in Jordan. Turkey is enormously worried about the refugee flows, the possibility of a terrorist state emerging from the rubble of Syria.
So with that last verse, Jeremiah 49:8, and it says, "Flee ye, turn back, dwell deep, O inhabitants of Dedan, for I will bring a calamity of Esau upon him, the time that I will visit him." Okay, so now we're in that time. So with that, I'm going to say all praise to Yahweh, Bashim, Yahweh Shai, and double honors to our elders, which are the elders of GMS. Much love to you brothers, the elect. Okay, and keep faith, man, and keep your head up. We're almost out this thing. Shalom.